Hello everyone! Welcome to episode 19 of the Andersmillknits video vlog on YouTube. I thank you everyone for coming over and joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know we're all so busy in this world and there's so much good things to put our energies into, and for you to sit back and knit or put me on while you're doing a chore or something like that just makes me feel, you know, a little giddy. Yeah, that's the word. And I'm gonna cross my legs here. So, thank you for everyone who is returning, and for those of you who are new to the video vlog, I'm gonna try and stop saying podcast. Wink, wink. If for those of you returning, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And, you know, go on over and join into our Ravelry group, which is called AndersMillknits. And then we also have a Ravelry group for our Summer Stripe Along Craft Along, which is called Summer Stripe CAL. Oh wait, no, Summer Stripe Along CAL. And you can tag your items on Instagram and the other social medias as SSACAL or Summer Stripe Along CAL. And maybe I should tell you about me, huh? We've gotten a lot of new subscribers recently, and so I thought maybe I'd take a moment and reintroduce myself. So my name is Emily. I hail from Alaska, but I'm currently here in the wilds of Oregon. It's not really wild, but and I'm enjoying my life with my new husband. We've been married 6 months now, as of tomorrow, I think. Yes, because tomorrow will be June 12th. So we'll be married exactly 6 months. Actually, wait a minute. No, that is not correct. We will have been married 7 months because we got married November 12th. Yeah, we'll go with that. I can do math, maybe, sometimes. And I am a counselor and a behavioralist, and I work in the rural areas of Oregon. When I say rural, it also includes Beaverton, Hillsboro, and like Tigard areas, but most of my clients are in the coastal regions. So I go from all the way from Astoria down to Tillamook and all of the little communities in between. And I just love them so much. I just got back from a 2-day trip down there, over there, to see all my clients, and I got a couple new clients and did a training for a facility down there, which was really fun. It was the first time I'd been able to like vocalize some thought processes I'd had been contemplating about the needs of our the seniors that are residents in those facilities. And so let's see, what else about me? I come from a big family. I'm one of 6, and I am one of the middle children because you can't have just one middle child with 6 kids. And let's see, what else about me? I love all colors. Like, you needed to know that. I struggle a little bit with the color black, but then I don't because I have a lot of clothes that are black. So, you know, it's this weird dichotomy going on, or weird conundrum. That's the word going on in my head about black. And I struggle with the color red a lot. And this is not red, by the way. This is orange. Orangey something. This is not red. I have to go on record of saying that. And I have a dog. His name is Watson. Oh, say hi, everybody. You don't want to? You just want to cuddle? You didn't even want to get up here, huh? Yeah, Watson just had eye surgery a little while ago, and he's doing much better. We're grateful that it wasn't cancer, so he's doing really good. And I'm just loving life. So that's a little bit about me. I started AndersMillknits. It was originally my indie dye and bag company back in the day, and when I went into my master's program, about a year into my master's program for counseling, clinical counseling, I realized I just couldn't do both. There was just no way. I was running myself ragged. So I closed down that, and so when I decided to finally, I'd been contemplating doing a podcast for years, and I finally got up the nerve to do it this last fall. And so what else was I going to call it but AndersMillknits? Because that's the name I love. So I went with that. And I started it mainly because I wanted to reach out and continue the community that I love so much. I don't know that I bring anything special to the world of video vlogging or anything like that. It's just me and my dog talking about life in general. So, but that's a little bit about me, and I hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and thank you all for joining us. We have lots of giveaways, things like that, which, by the way, why don't we get right into about giveaways, huh? So it is now June, which means that the Double Dip Cal, and if you want to know about that, please go on over to the Ravelry group, AndersMillknits Ravelry group, and there is a June thread open for this. But the May thread is now closed, and we have a winner for that. And let me go back open my notes again here. So our May winner is number 44, which is Try Linda, and that's Linda from Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Linda! Watson's like, whoa, yelling in my ear. You won a skein of Highland Handmaids Sugar Plum Base in the Limitless colorway. Isn't that beautiful? So that was the winner for that. So Linda, if you'll get a hold of me on Ravelry, just PM me, aka Millie on Ravelry, and let me know your address and your contact information so that I can send that to you. I'll get that out in the mail to you. So then we have the June giveaway then, right? And I've been going through my things, and I came across a set of a complete set of sock needles that I got a while back from China, and I've never used them. I even marked them though. I figured out so that's the Chinese size for this needle, and that's the equivalent in American. So it's 000 right there, which is whoa. And then we have 000, and it goes all the way up to size 8. And it's not a complete set. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Sorry, if this isn't a complete set, I'll have to change it out. But we've got all of that, and then it also comes with a crochet hook and a needle, the tapestry needle, so you can sew everything in. So it's a complete set, and it's a 32-inch, and I'd like to give that away for this. I say it's a complete set. Don't worry, guys, I'll figure it out, because I've got 2 of these. This must have been the one I was keeping. Go over and join in the June Double Dip Cal, and we'll see who wins, and we'll get that out to whoever wins. How's that? I was looking a little weird having it cut off right there, so figure that out. So then let's just keep on talking about our knit-alongs, shall we, or craft-alongs. There's so much going on. I'm not going to get into all of it about the summer stripe-along. If you want to know more about that, you can go to the last episode. I talk in great detail about it. But there are a lot of thank yous that I want to put out there today, and to talk about some other podcasters' cals that are going on. So I'm going to get my notes closer to me so that I don't reach weirdly. So I want to welcome a new moderator to the Summer Stripe Along, and that's Kim and Marcy from Destined to Knit, and they're just awesome individuals. I hope you guys go over and give their audio podcast a listen. They're the kind of people that you feel such a warm glow and camaraderie with. They are truly engaged with each other, and when one is talking about a project, the other one isn't just sitting over there knitting and being like, oh yeah, they're talking and I'll just wait for my turn. No, they're actually engaged with each other and talking about the projects and bouncing ideas off each other. They talk about life. Marcy just had a beautiful baby girl named Pippa, and which, who doesn't love that name, huh? I mean, come on. And they just are wonderful, wonderful individuals. And so they've joined us in this adventure of a stripe along, craft along, and I want to thank them for joining us. Hi guys. Then I want to thank a bunch of people who went and announced our knit along, craft along on their podcasts. And I was a little bit shameless. I kind of went out and kind of blasted it out to a whole bunch of podcasters, and it wasn't because I wanted to get my name out there. I wanted to just really try and promote our group and what we're doing, and try and really get our community going, if that makes sense. So I contacted quite a few people, and so I want to start thanking, just from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Sue from Betsy Makes, the girls from the Naughty Knitwits here in Portland area, Kim, obviously, from Destined to Knit, and Steve and Callie from Dramatic Knits, love you guys, Emily and Deborah from Meanwhile at the Castle, and Michelle from Actually Knitting. And those are just the ones that I personally know of, that I've listened or watched. And so if there are other podcasters out there that have mentioned the stripe along, thank you so much, and hopefully I'll get to caught up on my viewing and listening pleasures and be able to announce to thank you over the air and on the next podcast episode. Two of those people that I just mentioned, oh, I'm sorry, and Vivian and oh no, I've forgotten her daughter's name. Well, the ladies from Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, they also mentioned our podcast, our knit along. Sorry, I'm getting frustrated and flustered, obviously. And I want to talk a little bit more about them. The Keep Calm and Carry On audio podcast is a mother-daughter podcast, and I've talked about them in the past. Vivian is the owner and operator of the Pearl and Plum Etsy shop, where she makes amazing and very unique bags, project bags. And she was so gracious and donated a bag to the podcast earlier in the year, but now she's also donated a bag to our Summer Stripe Along. But not only that, but they're also hosting a really cool craft along, and it's there because Allison, there we go, Vivian and Allison, I gotcha. So the daughter Allison is a crocheter and Vivian is a knitter, and so they kind of are going head to head with each other and seeing who can get the most participants and the most interactions and listings of people with each craft. So if you guys are interested in joining that knit along, knit along and crochet along, that is open from May 5th until August 10th, and you can find their threads over on Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. And if you're going to be joining in, please hashtag your projects on Instagram and the other social medias. If you're a knitter, you can hashtag it with Team If I Sit I Knit, and if you're a crocheter, you can tag it with Team Crochet All Day. I think that's really fun. And another podcaster, Michelle from Actually Knitting, this is her third or fourth year doing her PowCal, and so I want to encourage everybody to go over and do that. I won't even get into it, into all of the details on that, because Michelle does an amazing job of describing it in her latest episode and telling you all about the prizes that are involved in that. And if you're going to be into that, please post and link it to a hashtag PowCal, P-A-L-C-A-L, And so I wanted to let you know about that. And of course, we all know Watson really wants to lick my hands. We all know about the Stash Dash that's happening this year. And I know a lot of you are getting into that. And I haven't decided if I'm going to get into that one yet, because every year I join and every year I fail. I wish I could. But I would like to take just a moment and list out all the amazing prizes that have come up since the Stripe Along Craft Along has started. So we've got an oak skein from a one-of-a-kind skein from Kirby Werby Knits, which is so gorgeous. Hopefully I'll insert a picture here. I don't have pictures for most of these because I'm not the only one providing all of these ones, but I have in my greedy little hands the skein from Kirby Werby Knits, and let me tell you, it's difficult to give that away. So then we have the project bag that I mentioned from Pearl and Plum, and please go over and support these makers, because they're just so giving and so willing to support all of us, and I would love for us to continue to show them the support as well. Then we have a mini skein set from Diabolical Yarn, Rachel over at Diabolical, and I would recommend going over and listening to her podcast. No. No, that's another podcaster's. Uh-oh, I've forgotten hers. I'll have it right down here because I'm getting her podcast name and another podcast name mixed up in my head. Read, Sit, Pray, I've got, but that's not her podcast. And then I've got Ready, Set, Knit in my head too. So this is just all jumbled up. So I'll just put it down here for you guys. Then we have a pattern that's being given away by the Delusional Knitter. And then we have a 4-ounce hand-dyed 4-ounce braid of wool from Dyed in the Wool. We have the Walking Through China sock pattern giveaway from Benita Story, who I believe is the owner of Dyed in the Wool, I think. And a lovely goodie bag full of yarn from Karen at Simply Stashless. And then a skein of socks that rock from Amy at Hudson Valley Knits podcast. And I know we have more coming. I just don't know what they are yet. So we've got nine prizes here, folks. Isn't that amazing? Phew, but that was a lot. And we're almost we're at 17 minutes here. Wow. Well, why don't we give you just a tiny little update on reviewing notes, which is me reviewing my life since the last time I recorded. So I sprained my ankle. My husband and I have a rule that when we have discussions / arguments / fights, he hates it when I call them fights, that one of us, if we feel that we're uncomfortable with proceeding with the discussion, we'll call a break. And so usually when that happens, I'll go for a walk and my husband will go and play on his computer or something like that. He'll just busy himself in the house, and then we'll come back about anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes later, and we start the conversation over. And it's just amazing because temperatures have cooled and we are actually able to be productive in our conversation with each other. Well, a couple weeks ago, that's what happened, and I went for a walk, and I went for an angry walk, as I call them, and I wasn't thinking, and I wore my flip-flops out, and I went for about a 2-mile walk, and by the time I got home, I had a twisted ankle. So it was, I don't know how it came about, it just did. So it's been unpleasant. So for those of you who don't know, I'm also a cancer survivor, and for me what that looks like is that on my right leg, I have no muscle on, my muscle was extracted on my upper right outer thigh. So this is your leg and these are your 2 muscles. I don't have this one. So that's what my leg now looks like. It's about half the size of my normal thigh. And then my kneecap is prosthetic. And so that's usually my bad leg. Well, I went and twisted my ankle on my left side. And so it's been very frustrating and hard to walk around and maneuver because my right leg, which is normally my bad leg, is not strong enough to support me because my left leg has, for the last 15 years, has been taking all of the brunt of my weight and my balance and all this kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden I can't do it. So that's been frustrating. Watson, what are you doing? You better not be, oh, you little... Him and he has this thing about my progress keepers and my stitch markers. It's so annoying. He'll sit there and eat on them. And so he's been, ugh, it's all slimy. Ew. Ugh. Yucky. We'll talk about that thing later. That's unfortunate. And I've had many a project get thrown across the room because of, like, I come across it, and Watson's been doing that. It would be solved if I just kept all of my projects in my project bags, but, you know, Emily doesn't do the obvious, does she? But that's been about my 2 weeks. A lot of pain. You would think that I got a lot of knitting done in that time, but I honestly didn't. In fact, why don't we just head on over into the case notes, shall we? Case notes are where I talk about my finished objects, which I have 0, people. 0. None. And I have no excuse for it. So, well, okay. So then let's move right along into in session, which is what's going on right now on my needles, shall we? I've had a little bit of Caston-itus because of the summer stripe along. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying myself, so I don't mind. My husband's like, you're never gonna get these all done. I don't even care. I just am enjoying the process. Sorry, I needed some water. So why don't we talk about, this one kind of, this one goes into both what's in my toolbox, which is things that are new to me in my Yarny universe. But it's also a cast on for this time round. And I and a good friend of mine ordered a skein of Kirby Werby knits. And let me look it up here in my knitting journal. So I got a skein of Kirby Werby knits in the What in Tarnation colorway. Sorry if you couldn't read that. There you go. And I wanted to try the Afterthought Everything pattern, and so I cast that on and knit on. It's all tangled up on size 0s. Oh, hold on, guys, I'm almost there. I gotta figure this out. Did I do it right? No, I don't think I did it right. Got it! Okay, here we go. So here it is in the skein. So it's got some electric purple and pink, some beautiful soft blues, and what separates the 2 different stripes is a shock of black. So this is literally going to go with everything I own, because the colors that I wear, besides from this is a anomaly in my wardrobe. The colors that I wear are pink and, dang it, what did I do now? I'm just making a mess. The colors that I wear are pink, blue, and blackish gray. So I can wear this with everything in my wardrobe, and look how it's knitting up, people. Isn't that gorgeous? I love how this reminds me of like a cheetah or something. So I did a 1x1 rib for I don't even know how long. I was in, my husband and I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I knit that, I knit this whole thing during that time. I haven't picked it up since because I've been a little busy. But, so it looks a little wonky. I wish I hadn't done the ribbing in the dark, but oh well. It's done. So the Afterthought Everything pattern is one that is pretty darn awesome, if I say so, even though I'm not the designer. So literally, look at that. See that tube right there in the middle? This is what you're doing. You're doing the ribbing on the top, the ribbing on the bottom, and a huge long tube. And then she gives you these great instructions. It's kind of like a novel, but it makes sense, okay? And she gives you all these instructions on how to measure everything out, where to put in waste yarn or where to cut it in the end so that you can have perfectly matching socks. And I'm so excited about that. Generally speaking, these are my this kind of stuff is my car knitting. It's my I'm not going to be able to look at it kind of knitting. And so the Afterthought Everything, I'm thinking, will be a winner in my book because I'll be able to knit this huge long tube and at the end have 2 socks out of it instead of 1. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want that? So I'm super excited. And by the way, I'm knitting on my standard 60 stitches around. So US size 0 was 60 stitches around. So that's my first cast on, and this is in my zigzag stitches bag that I've had for years, and I love it. My mom tried to take it and steal it from me once, but I didn't let her. I didn't, I tell you. So then, pardon my popping of my knuckles, guys. Okay, so then what else do I have on the needles? Oh, I'm so excited about this one. So this is, the project in here is being housed in one of my 2 prized rusted stitch project bags. And yes, I still have the tag on it because Stephanie, she wrote Merry Early Christmas. She sent this to me like, I can't remember, she sent this to me in November or December, but I think she sent it to me around Thanksgiving of last year. And I love it. I use it all the time. In fact, it could probably use a wash at this point, but I'm not really sure how to go about doing that. So, this project I've been wanting to cast on for a while, and I've been watching all the projects out there on Ravelry and just being so envious of it. And it's the Bendy Arrow. And it's by Charlotte Bory. That's B-O-R-Y. And this is what it looks like. So this works in perfectly with our stripe along. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Isn't that beautiful? I love it so much. And it's such an easy knit, but at the same time, like, it's so enjoyable. So last weekend when I was all caught up and stuck in bed with my bad foot, or really honestly on the couch, I was knitting primarily on this. In fact, I don't think I knit on anything else. Oh no, I did knit a swatch for something else, but this was my main project. And the yarns that I'm using are Wee Chickadee Woolery. They're a Oregon company, and beautiful, by the way. Wildflower is the colorway, and then I'm also using Malabrigo in the 807 Azure colorway. And I'm knitting this with size 6 needles. So here are my colors, which we talked about last time. Let's see, it's a little, no, it's good. Okay, I really want you to see the pops of color in this. Look at that. And then with the blue. So cool, right? And wait till you see how it's coming together. Here's the right side. So here it is. Let's hold it back here for a minute. Okay, Watson's getting annoying because of all the needles in the yarn getting all over him. But here it is. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Look at that. Oh. So I think I have to do 19 of these stripes, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've done 9 total. So I've got 10 more to go on this section. And I think I'm going to call it Ahoy, or I'm going to call it I'm Sailing, because for some reason this project is reminding me of What About Bob. And if you guys haven't seen that movie by the genius, not Billy Crystal. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with my brain? Now I've got Bob Newhart going on in my brain. Whatever! I've never been good with actors' names, but you would think I would know this since he's one of my favorites. The guy from Groundhog's Day and Ghostbusters and all the goodies. Anyway, if you're familiar with the show, the movie, you'll remember that Bob is afraid of practically everything in this world. He's got a neuroses for everything. He works from home because he is afraid of people. He can't go in elevators because he's afraid of, you know, it dropping. He has a fear of not being able to find a bathroom because his bladder will explode. He fears. So there's so many fears he has, and one of them is sailing, obviously. And while he's trying to overcome all of these fears, and so at one point during the movie, he's invited to go sailing. And it's this beautiful skit. I can't do it well, but he's in the car and he's like, "It makes my tongue numb to think about it. But if the craft is seaworthy and your friend is a good sailor, let's go sailing." So I can't do it. I can't do the numb tongue. But and then you flash to him a little later, and he's strapped to the mast of a sailboat, and he's screaming in joy, "I'm sailing!" And he just repeats it over and over again. It's just so fun. I have to watch that show tonight. My husband has not watched it in, like, since it came out in, what, very early 90s? Very early 90s? So, I think I'm going to make him watch that tonight. I made him watch Hello Again the other night. It was good. Anywho, so I think this is going to be either Ahoy or I'm Sailing in reference to What About Bob. So, that's a long story about my knitting project, but oh my gosh, I love this. In fact, if we watch this tonight, I am going to be knitting on it tonight while we watch it. That's the way it's gonna be. So that's another cast on that I have, and that's not all. That's not all. Is it? Oh. So I have a wah-wah cast on, and it's making me really sad and frustrated. I'm really struggling with it. So, I mentioned the last time that I wanted to cast on Breathing Space by Vera Valimarchi. And there's a couple other people joining in. And if you'd like to join in, we can all support each other. And I just need your guys' support on this because I'm really struggling. So I decided to use, going back to my knitting journal again, I decided to cast on the size 46-inch chest because I'm exactly 45.5 inches right here, right below my my armpit, and the pattern says to do 0 to very little ease, positive ease. So I cast on using my Madeline Tosh singles in Merino Light as the main color, and this is the Victorian Gothic colorway. And then my other colorway is, oh, I have another cast on too. Can't forget that. My other colorway is Hedgehog Fibers in the Monarch colorway. And I think these two go very well together. And it's gorgeous, right? Well, I did a swatch. And I got my row gauge stitches per inch correctly, but my row gauge is off. And I'm not really terribly pleased with the fabric that it created when I did that with the singles. So then, but I decided to move forward with it. So then I cast it on. The first time I cast it on, I twisted my stitches and got a Mobius. The second time I cast it on, I twisted my stitches and got a Mobius. The third time I cast it on, I wasn't paying attention and accidentally cast on for the size small. Even though I highlight extensively, I don't know if you can see, but I highlight extensively throughout the pattern my parts, I still did it. Then the fourth time, the current time, I cast it on and I'm knitting along I got the right amount of stitches. I got, it wasn't a Mobius or anything, but then I got to the short row section, and I think it was because I was just too exhausted and uncomfortable with I had pushed myself too far, and my foot was hurt, my ankle was hurting, and all these things, and I just have no idea where I am in the pattern or anything. See, it looks beautiful, right? It looks great. Well, a little wonky here and there. But it's not attached to the ball anymore because I'm going to rip it out because I have no idea where I am. I spent about an hour this morning trying to figure out where I was in the freaking pattern, and I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't mark it because I was in a hotel room and I was in too much pain and I couldn't find my pen, so I didn't mark it. So this is being ripped out yet again, and and this part is just gonna be thrown away. All this yarn is just gonna be thrown. So we're back. Sorry, I ran out of space on my phone and I had to go and figure out how to free it up. So that took a little while, but I was talking about this. So this is going to be ripped out, and this is the part that Watson was chewing on. Yeah, I'm talking about you. See how it's a little darker than the others? I don't know if you can. Ugh, it's slimy. So that's going to be ripped out. I'm going to start again for the 5th time, I think. I don't know if that's just the wrong yarn to be using with this, and it could very well be. And so my husband and I are going to Eugene for the Black Sheep Gathering in, I think, 2 weeks. And so I might just look for an alternative and take along this and take along my swatch so that I know what colors I want to stay in, but find a sock yarn that would actually, an actual like fingering weight yarn that's not a single ply, because I just don't think this is working out well. I think this might be destined for like a boxy or something. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to concentrate on my other projects for now. But not only did I work on that, I totally forgot, because while I was laid up, I cast on another project, and this is for my, probably my brother-in-law for Christmas. I'm going to knit a bunch of hats this year, and I've been wanting to learn how to do brioche knitting, and I have a Craftsy class on that. I just hadn't watched it. So while I was laid up, I took the opportunity to start watching it, and I cast on the Simple Brioche hat. Just brioche knitting made easy, I guess. But that's the image there of it. I'm going to make it a little bit longer because that seems to be just hitting her about her ears. And it needs especially for my brother-in-law who loves my hand knit hats that I give him. I want to make sure that, and for the cold Alaska winters, it needs to be down further. And who knows, I'll ask my sister, maybe he'll be interested in a slouchy hat. I don't know, I can't really see him wearing one. But, so I've got the twisted rib done, and then I got about 4 rows into what I'm hoping is the correct brioche, but it's looking a little different than it did on the video. So, although you guys can't see that, it's just too small. So I wanted to go back and re-watch that portion where she's just talking about the 2 different rows that you do and make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So what am I knitting this in? My Vintage DK, Barocco Vintage DK in a number. It's the dark blue. So that's getting washed out over there, but over here it's not. There you go. And I'm knitting it on size 6. I've got 2 circulars, size 6 needles, so that I can do the entire hat without having to switch to double points at any time, because I struggle with that sometimes. So I have it working out, and I'm so super excited about that. So I don't know how many cast-ons that is. 1, 2, 3, 4 cast-ons, but 1 is kind of a fail. Wah, wah. So that's not it. I'm also working on still working on my Hermione's Everyday Socks. And the Happy Feet yarn and the crayon colorway. And boy, has this skein seen better days. So that's the crayon colorway. I've been working on this for a good while. This is just my car knitting. And this is also a wah-wah because, oof, it's all messed up. Because I went to grab it one day and I guess it got caught up on something. Because what ended up happening is I ripped the needles out of my sock completely. And so I was so frustrated with it. I threw it back in the bag without putting the stitches back on the needle, mind you, and walked away. Well, now we're trying. I finally got up enough energy while I was laid up to try and put it back on. But then I got kind of tired of trying to fix it, and so I'm in the last run here, and I just have a few drop stitches. You can see the loose yarn there, but it's so pretty, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm doing again my normal size 0 needles, which I love this fabric, on size 60 stitches around, and I have one sock completely done. And you can see the colorway more on the stocking knit side there. Doesn't that look like a good fabric? And this sock just fits me like a glove, baby. Or like a sock. This sock fits me like a sock. So I just need to get back onto it. But I mean, come on now, people. I mean, this is pathetic. Oh well, I'll get back to it. It'll stay for me. But that's all that I have cast on, I believe. I'm pretty sure it is. So why don't we move into reviewing some notes? No, not reviewing notes. We've already done that. Let's talk about my toolbox. What I've bought or received in the mail, in swaps and what have you. So the last 2 weeks have been pretty good. So I mentioned already that I ordered my special skein from Kirby Warby Knits in the Horton Tornation colorway. So that I've got already cast on. But I mentioned in the last podcast that I had a day where I was feeling really seriously homesick and just really struggling. And so I not only purchased my Horton Tornation colorway, but I also purchased another skein online, which I love, from Lavender Loon Yarn Company. And this is the Trixie colorway. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, and then, wait for it. Wait, where'd it go? Well, it's got these little blips of black that just bring everything else to life. It's just astounding. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is not going to be socks, even though it's a sock base. It's probably going to be a sock head hat. And I'm thinking I might try and, no wait, is that too much? I was thinking I might try and stripe it so that it could go along with the stripe count. But I really want this to be the star of the show, and I don't want it to be muted by a stripe. So maybe this just has to be a sock head hat, period, without any other adornment. It doesn't need other adornment, right? So that's number one. And then I was out in Forest Grove seeing some clients, and I've been meaning to check out the shop there called Cozy Knit. Oh no. Doesn't say on my tag. I know I put it in my show notes though. So let's see. So the Naughty Lamb. And this is a yarn shop that is a destination yarn shop for all of you. I have a friend, a knitting friend, coming to visit. Well, she's from these area and coming to visit in July. And I want to suggest to her that we go out there because ooh, it's so good. So the store is very calmingly situated. It's not overly jam-packed. You have freedom of movement. You have this beautiful area to sit and relax and knit with other people. And they were playing like folk music on the radio, and of course that's my jam. And so I love that stuff. And the yarn selection focuses on indie and the small makers. So we have indie dyers, and then we have the next run of, say, for instance, Hedgehog is the smaller maker, or Brooklyn Tweed, or Quince & Co. And then, of course, we have the big makers like Cascade, right? I don't think they had Cascade in there, which I am grateful for. They did have a small selection of your basics, but they really shone the light on indie dyers and makers. And it's from all across the United States and maybe even further. And I fell in love with this yarn in particular. It's by Swift Yarns. They're out of New York City. And this is the Folklore colorway. And this is just so gorgeous. I could see me striping this with a dark hunter green like this, right? Or I don't know what else to stripe it with. But this is so cute and gorgeous. It's so funny because look at the two differences here. They're very different. They still have that light, kind of romantic aura to them, but they're very different in colors and stuff, except for they both have that. Okay, Emily's gonna stop talking now because I'm just going on. And then my last skein that I actually got in my Romance Lovers swap. And this last month, for the month of May, because it was Memorial, was the holiday, we decided to focus the Romance Readers swap on, like the army, the military, the police officers. And so we focused our book selection along those lines. So like the hero or the heroine served in some capacity in those professions. And then of course we did, you include a skein of yarn and a few little goodies and stuff. And this time Mashinda was my swap partner, and she sent me a single ply. Oh my gosh, look at that. And that's pretty true to life, people. A single ply sock yarn from the UK. What? It's I knit or die. Oh, it's upside down. That's why it looks so funny. I knit or die. And Giddy Helen tells me that their shop is near her and she hasn't gone to see them yet. What's wrong with you? Gotta go over there, girl. So this I don't think has a colorway name, although on the tag there it says I knit or die and Shangri-La, and it says a sock. So I don't know if Shangri-La is the base or the colorway, but I don't know what I'm gonna knit with it, but it's pretty. So, and then not only did I do that, but I also got 2 books. I got The Mindfulness of Knitting that I've been diving into. It's a beautiful book, really well put together. The author, which is Rachel Matthews, she says that she's never written like this before. She's never written a book or anything like this before, but her prose is so eloquent and engaging, and it just draws me in. I love it. And she's got a lot of little exercises. I want to try and find one in here. So it's about how do we be mindful in our knitting, right? Bringing ourselves into the knitting process. Instead of, as I am very much of, what do they call it? A canoodler, I don't know. Canoodler, I don't know. Anyway, I oftentimes knit while I'm doing something else, like watching TV, listening to an audiobook or a podcast, what have you. So I'm not ever truly present with my knitting, and I've been trying to change that a little bit. And this book is all about that. And one of the exercises, I just want to read it to you. So this is a sketching idea. So this exercise, she explains about all the different exercises in the book. And So she says, start your first exercise by finding a new notebook and a pen that enhances your handwriting, feels beautiful in your hand, and fuels you with the sense of adventure. Your notebook will be used to gather together thoughts about your life experiences, your ways of being, and your knitting. Your abstract, psychographical adventures, where your thoughts wander while you are working, can also be documented here. On your first page, start by drawing a wiggly line. This could be a decorative loopy tangle or hold the kind of undulating kinks that yarn from an unraveled piece of knitting might have. Bending up, then down, up, then down. Wiggle your way to the edge of the paper. Wiggly lines are all knitting is when it comes down to it. Loops working their way through loops. As your pen learns to behave like yarn, think about what you would like to learn from knitting. As the words come to you, work them into your wiggling drawing. Consider the bigger lessons in life, the characteristics you might need to fulfill your wildest ambitions. Stick to the lines. Draw your wiggle in rounds if you prefer. Decorate the lines themselves as if they were fancy yarn. Let the movement of the pen trigger thought after thought until you have filled the page. Right? Like mic drop. That kind of thing. Just utterly gorgeous language, exercises, thoughts, processes, and unique too. There's a exercise that we do in counseling that's like this, but then we also do it blindfolded for the people, and we try and have them like, so you just scribble blindly all over a page, do whatever you want, just scribbling, and then when you open your eyes, we ask you to find one thing in that scribble that you've created, and that one thing is kind of like your unconscious speaking out that you find within the scribbles. So somebody might find a dinosaur, another person might find a flower, another person might find the monster that is their psyche or something like that, right? So that's it. So it's reminiscent to that, but she's taken a completely new slant on it, and it's so unique in that way. I just love it. Let's read this one. I haven't read this one yet. Placing yarns on the map. In this chapter, I have described two of my deepest relationships with yarn. The first was an itchy fiber from a rainy northern England, and the second a soft fiber from far-off lands where the sun shines brightly. Your top two favorite yarns are likely to be quite different to mine. In this exercise, take time to consider which two yarns best describe your character. Engage with the yarn on a deeper level, finding out where it comes from, and, if you can, arranging a visit to that place, either virtually or for real. So cool! I never thought to do that. I'm gonna have to... Ooh, I can't wait till I get to this chapter. Knitting Sacred Places. Ooh. I love this book. I love... Rachel, you are an amazing author. And I've only gotten like 20-something pages into it. The other one I got is Knit for Health and Wellness. And this one's more of a kind of a textbook style, but it's got an easy reading style. But one thing that I really love about it is that on every single page, it's got a column for notes for you. And it's a pretty easy read. I actually haven't sat down and read through it, but one of the reasons why it makes me think, in detail, obviously. One of the reasons why it makes me think of a textbook is at the end of each chapter, it has points to peruse. Yeah, peruse. I was reading it backwards. And I really like these. So, like, practice being flexible in your thinking and keep practicing. It is fundamental to being well. It will enable you to stay in control. Strength lies in flexibility, not rigidity. So I really am going to enjoy reading this because, you know, we all have health problems, things that we struggle with mentally, physically, emotionally. And I think these two books can really help with that. And I want to engage or incorporate more the knitting process into my health and well-being, my mindfulness practices, and my clinical practices and my work area. So those are the things that I have bought. I really appreciate you guys all sticking with me through this episode and coming back again and again if that's your mode. Or you know what, if I'm not your cup of tea, don't worry about it. Go on and find another YouTuber or audio podcast that really fits your personality, because that's what it's all about. I mean, all of us are kind of following the same formula. You know, we tell you about our week, our purchases, what we're working on, what we've finished, sometimes maybe what's in the future. So really, it's the personality that speaks to you through the YouTube channels and the videos and the audio listening pleasures. So, you know, if I'm not that person for you, don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. But if I am that person for you, thank you. And welcome to Emily's World. Sorry, I had to do Wayne's World for a minute there. Wayne's World! Wayne's World! I had to do it. I had to. It was a compunction. You know, so next week, the next time I record the next time I think I have scheduled to record is also the day that we are going down to the Black Sheep Gathering. So I will probably put that off to record later in the weekend or maybe in the beginning of that week so that I can tell you about that. And I'm going to try my hardest, guys. I'm so bad at this, but I'm going to try my hardest to record some while I am there. And introduce some makers and things like that to you. This festival I really enjoy. It's huge, and there are so many makers, and wait till I record the spinning circle. It's just amazing. Of course, I need to get their permission to do that. Maybe I should email somebody. Anyway, but that's upcoming, and I hope you all join in to our Stripe Along, Craft Along, the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn Challenge, knitting versus crochet. If I sit, I knit. That's my team. Or the Pal Cow, or the Stash Dash, or any other amazing knit along, craft along, crochet along that's out there going on right now. And let's just enjoy our community. And remember, everybody, to knit what you love and love what you knit. Take care.